I bought the house for the backyard, not for the size, not for the location, but for the simple dream of growing tomatoes and letting my daughter play barefoot in the grass. It was our small version of freedom. That first spring, I planted 5 tomato plants, 2 rows of green beans, and a few herbs near the fence. It wasn't anything fancy, just soil, seeds, and sunlight. My daughter and I watered it every morning. She called it our little jungle. Then, one day, a letter showed up in the mailbox. The envelope was from the HOA. Inside was a fine, $75. The violation? Unauthorized agricultural activity. I thought it had to be a mistake. Surely they weren't talking about the tomatoes. But I was wrong. 2 days later, I received another notice. A photo of my backyard was attached, zoomed in on the tomatoes. Fine increased to $150. Then $250. I attended the next HOA board meeting, thinking I could clear it up with a simple conversation. I stood up, introduced myself, and explained that I was just growing a few vegetables for my family. They looked at me like I was contagious. One board member said, "We can't have everyone turning their yards into farms. It lowers the neighborhood aesthetic." Another chimed in, "If we let one person grow tomatoes, next it'll be cornfields and tractors." I walked out of that meeting stunned. A few days later, I got a notice threatening legal action. They said if I didn't remove the plants, they could place a lien on my property. It wasn't about tomatoes anymore. It was about control. My daughter cried when I told her we might have to take the garden out. She didn't understand. Honestly, neither did I. That night, I sat down with the HOA bylaws and started reading. Every single page, line by line. I didn't sleep much. But what I found changed everything. The rules they were enforcing weren't even consistent with their own documents. One section allowed non-commercial, non-invasive planting for personal use. Another defined agricultural as commercial scale growing. I wasn't violating anything. They were bluffing. Or worse, abusing their power. So I pushed back. I wrote a formal response citing the exact clauses they were ignoring. I copied the State Housing Authority. And I shared my story on the neighborhood forum. That post exploded. Turns out, I wasn't the only one. A veteran down the street had been fined for having a flagpole over 6 feet. A single mother was threatened for a wind chime. An elderly couple had to repaint their shutters after the board decided the color felt too bold. One by one, neighbors began to speak up. At the next meeting, we packed the room. I brought a binder full of documentation. Every letter, every bylaw, every contradiction. I wasn't angry. I was prepared. We voted that night to form a committee to audit the board's conduct. 3 weeks later, we held a special election. The entire board was replaced. Every last one. The new board rewrote the guidelines to reflect fairness, transparency, and finally, common sense. Today, my garden is bigger than ever. Tomatoes, peppers, even sunflowers now. My daughter runs barefoot through the rows, smiling just like she did that first spring. They thought they could bury me under paperwork and fines. But they forgot something important. I was a seed. And seeds grow.